my end. Gotta get that going. Fuck, that's loud. Yummy. Yummy. 100 bits, thanks, dude. Better start getting that mic ready. You do understand, like, I wonder how much money it would actually take to get someone to level 69 on this. Like, thousands of dollars. Easy. There has to be a cap, too. There's gotta be some kind of a cap to get, like, level 69 on this stupid fucking hype train thing. Also, I should probably swap to my desktop screen. So you can see me do that. Ah, there we go. It's better. Perfect. Shove that mic right up in there. Okay, so before we start, I should say hello. Hi, guys. How you doing today? Hope everyone's doing good. It's Thursday. You've made it to the end of another week-ish. Tomorrow's Friday. You're free. Almost. Almost free. How y'all doing? Hope everyone's doing good. And with that said, we're gonna get started with opening a few cases, because why not? Opening concealed killer, because, like, I don't know, man. There's not... No Warpaint case is really worth opening, except for, like, Scream Fortress 12, and most of the time you just get dog shit. There's only, like, 5 or so decent Warpaints. You have Organically Hellraised is pretty good. You have Raving Dead, which is okay. Portal Plastered is okay. Death Deluxe is nice. Hell Driver's not bad. It's a little... It's pretty heavily fluorescent, but I love the concept of the flames. I just hate the fact that they're lime green against black. So it's like a better shell shocker, but just really fluorescent. I wish it wasn't as fluorescent as it is. Spectrum Splattered is cool, but you know, it's very colorful. Anti-color. With that being said, get me my fucking well-worn Woodsy Widowmaker SMG. Dude, I can call this shit, can't I? It's field-tested, but I'm good. Oh, sorry, minimal wear. That's minimal wear? God, it looks so fucked for minimal wear. Ugh. Skins, the fucking wears on older skins are so bad. Minimal wear. Not well worn. Would have actually been really funny if I got the wear correct. Battle Scarred King of the Jungle. Oh, that's Strange Factory new. Okay, hey, that's cool. I'm keeping that. That's awesome. Sick. This is like more rare than like a factory new pink out of these cases. Easy. You never open Strange Factory new skins from these cases anymore. And it's not, okay, listen. This isn't amazing by any means. And funny how the last good item I unboxed was a fucking unusual factory new of the same skin. But hey, it's pretty cool. I will fucking keep it. And then last but not least, that's dog shit. That's like well-worn or battle-scarred. And Tour of Duty ticket. Awesome. Yeah, well worn, lovely. And then a fucking piece of paper. Nice. So did we make profit? I don't think we did. I think we like, we didn't even break even. Yeah, this sells for like $6, yeah. So we still lost half our money. Awesome. Gotta love it. That's the name of the game. Don't unbox. Still kind of cool though. Yeah, it does look a little bit like a Nerf gun. I will agree with that. A little bit like a Nerf gun. Oh yeah, so someone so graciously donated this to me, or gifted this to me the other day, because they just fucking, like, Squidly just fucking threw this at me and said, hey, do you want this? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So now I have a permanent addition to my collection that I'm never going to get rid of, because getting your hands on these skins these days is nigh impossible, almost, so there you go. Alright, so let's do our spinny wheel. Spinny wheel. Oh, my inputs are gone, or is this still loading? We loading? There we go. So we did heavy last time. So, who's it gonna be today? What do we think? Mr. Disco, hello. It's a familiar name. Why do I recognize that name? Calling medic. See, if we land on medic today, the stream's gonna be like less than an hour because medic has no items. Spy is gonna take fucking engineer or spy is gonna take fucking forever. It's gonna take so long. All right, let's do it. We're doing spy today. All right, here we go. Get ready, because people are gonna hate me after this one. Where is your spy? There we go. I don't need help, thank you. Actually, yeah, this one won't take that long either, because spy doesn't have that many fucking items either. So... this one's gonna trigger a lot of people. Yeah, probably. I don't know. You will, like, if you express your opinion about someone's favorite class or item that contradicts their opinion, they will get very upset about it. It doesn't matter what class it is, it doesn't matter what item it is, you're gonna piss someone off with whatever opinion you give. It's an inevitability. And then people take it really personally for some reason. Don't know why they do, but they do. It's a fucking video game, relax. Just saying. You know what? So something I don't see on here is the disguise kit. And there are a couple things that I want to say about the disguise kit before I actually start talking about the individual items, if that's cool with you guys. So, a very common thread that I see about the spy is that he is quote-unquote the weakest class in the game. And half of the time I agree with that, and then half of the time I disagree with that. He is incredibly squishy, but he's also an insta-kill class. So, it's this weird fine line that the spy has to tread in order to remain balanced enough to where he's not, like, hideously underpowered, but not also brutally overpowered like the sniper. So, some changes could be made to make this, like, quality of life as playing spy a little bit better. At least I think, you know, because, I don't know, it's tricky. Very hard for me to call the only class in the game that can insta-kill a fully up heavy. Yeah, that's the point, right? Is he is the insta-kill class. He can circumvent a lot of things that can fuck over the other insta-kill class in the game, right? He can fuck over a vac medic. He can fuck over a battalion's backup. He can shut down any uber push so long as it isn't stock if he kills the med or his healing patient, right? So all of those are incredibly powerful. Now see, I don't agree with Funk's song at all, because let's say the medic pops uber. He's got fucking quick fix on, or he's got the vac on, the sniper can't do shit, but the spy can ruin it. You got the battalion's backup going, sniper can't do shit, spy can ruin it. That song, I fucking hate what that song has done. That song has laced this idea that you should not play spy, only play sniper, because sniper does everything and spy does better, when that's just simply not true. I disagree. They both fill the same insta-kill role, but they have very different class roles entirely. So, I don't know. Spy is in this weird spot where he constantly resides on that fine line, and I think that's a relatively okay place for him to be. But there could be a couple of quality of life things that I suppose could be, oh yeah, also, yeah, forgot, sentry nests, that too. Well then again, you know, if an engineer is within the sniper's line of sight, all he has to do is kill the engineer and the nest is effectively rendered useless because it can't be healed and anyone else can move in and wipe it out, so there's that too. But any reasonably well-seasoned engineer is going to be able to set up in a correct spot and avoid a sniper sightline anyway, so what have you. But there are a couple of ideas that one of them I've seen implemented that was part of the high GPS balance mod that I actually really like. And then there's another one that's kind of been floating in the back of my brain that I don't know would be a good idea or not. I'm not sure. So what the high GPS balance mod has done, just as like a base mechanic change for the spy, with his disguise kit, there's a way for you to press a button and then move at the same speed as the spy disguised as anything, right? Because normally, let's say you're disguised as a heavy, you're gonna move as fast as a heavy, right? So you can't catch up to a potential target. But in the high GPS balance mod, okay, if you hit this button, you can now walk as fast as a spy and catch up to somebody with any disguise. And I think that's really cool. That's a really interesting tool that the spy could use to his benefit, instead of having to always and only disguise as another spy or a scout to not fuck over his own movement speed so he can catch up to his own target. That, I think, would be an interesting buff for the spy. And it's also very much like risk versus reward. It's like, why is that heavy moving as fast as almost a scout? That's suspicious. You know, and if he starts doing the fast walk thing, it's a dead giveaway. But if he does it at the right opportune moment, boom, it makes it so you can effectively disguise as anything and then make spy that much more dubious, that much more deceiving, that much more, you know, sneaky. I think that would be a really cool change. The high GPS balance mod does that pretty well. I think it's cool. Yeah, and it would also unfuck the eternal reward, because if you decide to backstab a heavy, oops, I can't move anymore, I'm now walking as fast as a heavy, and either I swing to sacrifice my cloak, my disguise, or redisguise, and then get rid of all my cloak, right? Yeah, that makes the your eternal reward a lot more fun, a lot more usable, I would say. So, yeah, I agree with that. But another change that I had in mind, something that I think I was discussing this before. I don't remember if this is something that someone brought up or if this is something that like popped into my own head. Spy is very squishy all around, and I think something that might be interesting to kind of give him like a slight buff is, you know how he has a damage resistance when he's invisible? I think it's like 20% or something like that whenever he's fully cloaked. Why not give something like that to the spy when he's disguised? I'm not saying like 20%, but even like 5 or 10%, just so he can take a little bit more spy checking without getting completely fucked by like one pipe or one rocket, right? Because he can like take the pipe and stand there like, what? I'm on your team, dude. And then he can just go back to doing whatever the fuck he was doing, and that'd be all right. Only problem with that is if you combine that resistance with something like the fucking kunai, then it would just make the kunai even more borderline busted. So, I don't know. I feel like that would be potentially an interesting change, but in practice might not be so good given the fact that he has this and he has this. So, you know? 15% faster movement speed on spy while cloaked? No, I don't like that because, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know if I like that idea. I'd have to think about that one more. Changing base movement speed on demand, as I'm sure we've all talked about. We're talking about the fucking killing gloves of boxing. Sorry, the gloves running urgently, the escape plan, power jack, all those weapons that change your movement speed on demand need to have some kind of a downside. But for spy, you're invisible and moving faster, so it just lets you escape more easily without any sort of real punishment. Yeah, you can't attack, but you also can't be seen either. So that would throw off the predictability of being able to track a cloak spy and would probably buff him a little bit too much. So, in practice, I don't know. I just don't like the idea off the top of my head. Or presented to me like that, in like face value. So, not a fan of that. But let's start with the kunai. So, Conover's kunai is easily the spy's best knife, and I fucking hate it. I do not like this thing. Especially when it's combined with the fucking dead ringer, and if the spy is of any nominal skill, he can't fucking die, and I fucking hate it. You know, because if you have, like, listen, if you're playing in like a higher level game, I don't know, competitive or something, or if you're playing, I don't know, where players are largely competent, right? It's not that bad, but if you throw like a fucking 9,000 hour spy or like a 5,000 hour spy into just like your regular normal ass game, he can fucking farm players left and right and never fucking die. And I absolutely fucking hate that. It's a motherfucker to deal with. Like you just come into a game, people are playing casual, and then you have some sweaty boy fucking 5,000 hours on spy and nothing else, just milking people with the fucking kunai, gets one stab, jumps, cloaks, and surfs a rocket out of there, and then rinses and repeats over and over again. It's like the most bitch way to play fucking spy, and I fucking hate it. But it's also the spy's best knife because it gives him, what, I think it's like up to 210 overheal? Something like that? Oh my god, it's so fucking good. You know, and it's only, and here's the thing, its only downside, the downside of this item is only really in effect until you get that first backstab, right? You get that first backstab, if you can keep, you know, if you can keep yourself hidden and away to keep your health pool above, like, roughly 100, whatever, so you can, like, tank a rocket or a pipe, then this downside is never, like, fully realized, unless you wait a super long time before you go for another stab, right? My problem with this item is that once you overcome that first hump of the risk of the initially lower health pool, that risk never shows up again unless you wait a super long time to hit someone else. That's my main problem with it. I feel like, I don't know, and it's like, for me, I hate it almost so much that it's almost up here because of the problem of, like, you know, God spies never fucking die. Ugh. I don't know, I feel, but like, if you bump down the maximum health on this thing to anything lower than 210, it just throws it into, like, the almost useless category, because a 185 overhealed spy is the same as though he just got buffed by a medic. So, then what's the point? Just use any other knife at that point, because you're only walking around with 60 more health, so it's like, not really that worth it. So perhaps, I don't know, I feel like a better idea for this would maybe make the overheal drain faster, so they can't milk out one backstab for such a long time that the spy is once again forced to take that risk again to get that backstab, and then to keep chaining them with as he keeps getting more health after each consecutive stab. This thing should not let a spy be over 125 health for as long as it does. After he gets like one stab. I think the health should drain faster. I think that might be a good change for it. It does need a rework. The only argument for it is spy mains ever have is if you nerf the Kunai, you nerf the spy, it's the worst class in the game already. Yeah, and that's a circular argument, and that doesn't provide anything worth of value. So I think having the overheal drain, does the overheal drain slower than normal overheal, right? At least I think it does. I don't remember, because I don't play spy all that much, but the overheal does drain slower than normal overheal. Someone fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure it does. Full overheal will fade in 15 seconds, while full overheal fades in 60. Oh, it lasts 4 times as long at maximum health. Yeah, that's the problem. Cut it down to 30 seconds, half that. Keep it at 210. Bring it down to 30 seconds instead of 1 minute, so the spy is once again forced to go out and attack to keep that health pool up, instead of being able to milk that one stab for as long as he can and tank all that fucking damage. That's what should be done. Force the spy to take that risk more often instead of the first time coming right out of spawn. Then I think this thing might be in a little bit of a better place. I think spy should have a high skill floor considering backstabs are an insta-kill. I kind of agree. I kind of agree with that. Increased delay between stabs. See, Aimbot, you're kind of in the right point there. I think you and I are harping on the same thread here, where the fact you can chain stabs over and over again normally just keeps your health pool topped off. You would be the one to know this. It keeps your health pool topped off, so it never gets down low again to where you're actually being punished by that downside, right? So I think making that overheal drain faster while not changing the attack speed on the knife might be better, because once you're done attacking, you know, that's enough health for you to get out and survive, right? And then maybe stay cloaked for long enough before you can, like, okay, if I attack quickly enough again, I can still use that overheal to my benefit and go out and get someone else. But if you wait too long, you should be fucked. If you have a full minute, what is that? That'd be 45 seconds to get down to, what is that? 45. So what's 3/4 of 210? That's 50. That's 52 health. 52 health. So 210. You're still over your base health after 45 seconds. So I think having it drain faster might be a better idea. Spies, snipers, and scouts who play their life depends on it ruin the fun for everyone else. See, and that kind of applies to any class. Anyone who's playing the game like their life, like if they have a fucking gun held to their head, like, you will win this game or I'll put your fucking brain matter all over the floor, bub. Relax. I agree with that, but that applies to any class, not just those three. Oh, yes, and of course, interp exploits. Yeah, that's always fun, but the issue applies to any knife, not just the kunai. Interp exploits are kind of like a general thing, and not it's not like one. It's not a bigger issue on one knife over another. It's just an issue with it's just an issue with the spy in general, not just the kunai. So I think the slight tweak to the kunai, making your overheal drain faster, not lasting a full 60 seconds from 210, but like 30. You know, so it still drains twice as slow as normal overheal does, not 4 times as slow, which is crazy. I think that might be a good idea. Maybe. Maybe. Because as it stands right now, good spies never die with this. And they never die with it because they have the fucking Dead Ringer. So, Dead Ringer. We're getting like the old meta items out of the way for spies. So Dead Ringer next. The old Dead Ringer was fucking broken. This item, when it got nerfed, absolutely needed it. Because a spy could be using any knife and never die, ever, when using the old Dead Ringer. It was fucking crazy, right? So, right away, I'm not a fan of this type of item where you can feign death, you know, because it fucks over players a lot. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I just killed this guy. Oh, surprise, he's not actually dead. And I just don't think that's a fun mechanic in any video game where it's like, oh, yeah, I just got this really good kill. Oh, he's not dead. Fuck, I gotta do it again. And I'm not a fan of that. But that aside. No, yeah, I know. You could survive a backstab with a fucking Dead Ring because it reduced all attacks. It was nutty. But Dead Ringer, I think needs, or rather, I shouldn't say it needs. It needed to be nerfed because before you could tank so much and never die, and you could spam it too, right? There was no penalty for popping it, right? Like how it works now, if you use it, it chews up like what 50% of your cloak, something like that. Pretty sure it does. One sec, I gotta look. I'm pretty sure you pop it, it chews like 50 or like 40 or 50% of your cloak to use it. Yeah, when you feign death, half your cloak is fucking gone. It didn't used to have that, so you could just use it, put it away, and then use it again. So you could just feign death over and over again without any sort of real strong penalty. Now, it has that. Good, thank God. Yeah, old DR spam sucked dick. It's horrible. Because you would kill the guy, you'd kill the same guy 6 times. You shouldn't be able to do that. You should do it maybe once, twice, you know, before you have to like wait a bit and regen your cloak and all that shit. So, but the way they have it now, it's still good. It pairs the best, I find, with the kunai because, you know, you get the health, you feign the death, you lose a lower amount of that overheal because it reduces the first hit by like 70% and then scales down back to 20%. It's like an exponential decay. Something like that. I'm pretty sure it's like 60%, 65%. Yeah, it's a 65% damage resistance on the first hit. Sorry, 75%, yeah. 75% damage resistance on the first hit that pops the Dead Ringer, and then it decays from 65 back down to 20% while he's invisible. So if you pair it with the kunai, you lose a lower amount of that overheal when you pop the Dead Ringer, so you can just milk the kunai more. So, it's still good with the kunai, but any other knife, it's markedly lackluster, right? Because you don't have that health to, like, you know, you don't have that extra health to preserve with that damage resistance, so you're not able to tank as much, and you can't spam it as much, which is good, but you know. But yeah, this thing is still good with items that earn cloak back for you, or make it so you have a longer cloak duration, like the fucking Big Earner and the L'Étranger. I'm gonna say it wrong, and are you saying L'Étranger wrong? All right, I didn't edit the stream name. I should do that. We are doing Spy today. Doing the Spy. There we go. Spy. Done. Thank you for that. I think its base resistance when popped should be lower. Wow. By how much? I don't know. You put it too low and you're sacrificing, you know, a lot of your health, half your health. Is it worth it at that point? At that point, I would just, you know, I'd rather go invisible and then use the damage resistance on that. From 60% to like 45? I don't know. This thing is already a significant shadow of its former self, but it's probably in the best position that it's ever been. Easily. It's the Dead Ringer's in the most balanced position it's been in a while. And I think nerfing it even more is not a good idea. I think how it is now is okay. I think it's okay. It's okay as it is. Don't worry about I'm French and I'll cut you the slack. Remember when this got nerfed in every single major update after Gunmetal? Most consistent stream of nerfs? Yeah, because before those updates, it was fucking broken. And they had a hard time trying to figure out a good spot for it too. It went through a couple of reworks where they got into like a state where it was actually usable and kind of fair to use. Because I think the first nerf they gave it, it made it absolutely fucking useless. Or maybe it was the second one. I forgot which changes they made to it that made it absolutely just worthless. And then they kind of like had to rebuff it a little bit. But now it's in an okay spot. I like the minus 60% cloak for metal more than just not picking up metal at all, but that's just me. That's fair. I think it's okay now, though. I think it's all right. Not like his best item, but it's a decent one. Actually, I might bump it down a little bit. Dead Ringer's kind of middle of the road, I would say. Disguises when your teammates and the enemies will think one of your teammates died. See, that's the problem with this, though, is no good spy player is gonna go out of their way to disguise as someone on their own team to then feign a death and then re-disguise as someone on the enemy team just to get a kill. It's faster and a lot easier to just disguise as someone on the enemy team as a faster class, like a spy or a scout, get killed, get behind the enemy line, then uncloak and then go to town. No one's going through that full fucking loop to get behind the enemy lines. At least not that often. Okay, see, Aimbot, how often do you do that, though? Because you probably have, like all your... what you probably have is you have, like, the fucking, like, Razer... You're all like, fucking Razer gamered out, dude. You probably have, like, a fucking switchboard of buttons and shit. All these different binds. Like, you push this button. It's like, this button disguises me as friendly heavy. This button disguises me... You got, like, a whole fucking array of, like, bells and buttons and switches and shit to play Spy. You probably do. You flip a fucking switch, and you probably got all that shit set up, you know? But how often do you actually do that as Spy? Yeah, no one does that. Starry Crow would know. No one does that. Spy is the most situational class of the game? I don't think so. I disagree with that. You just gotta be close to someone to stab him. That's it. The Ambassador next is an interesting weapon. I'm not going to do the Ambi just yet. I will do L'Étranger. I feel like L'Étranger is almost the Spy's next best item right now, because why wouldn't you use this thing? Why would you not get 40% extra cloak duration and cloak back on hit at the sacrifice of a little bit of damage from your revolver? This thing is so fucking good. If you use it with just normal Invis Watch, it's easily the Spy's best primer. And you can pair it with the Dead Ringer, you can pair it with the fucking Cloak and Dagger, and juice out more fucking Cloak. Because normally you're playing stock Spy, Cloak is an issue. You can't move around that much while cloaked. You gotta worry about managing your Cloak and getting ammo to replenish it and whatnot. You have to attack faster. But with the L'Étranger, it allows you to play slower and pick your fights more meticulously, so you can actually have a better chance, like you have a much more well-predicted, thought-out plan to land a backstab instead of going, oh fuck, I'm out of cloak now, guess I'll go for it. You know, this lets you circumvent that a lot more often. And whenever I play Spy, I pretty much always and only ever use this. Because it's like, why not have 40% longer cloak with any fucking Spy watch? It's insanely good. And even then, like, the reduced damage on this thing, and you get cloak back on hit too, right? The reduced damage on this doesn't make all that much when you're actually using it, right? Like, let's say you're like, you walk up to a fucking sniper who's standing still, 3 shots, he's fucking dead, instead of like 2 at point blank with the stock revolver. So, it's pretty good. I think they should decrease the damage nerf on it so it's less so like make it do even less damage, you're saying? It's what, 15% now, I think is what it is? Or no, not 15. You can tell how much I play Spy when I can't fucking remember the damage penalty on this thing. So you have to Lestrange. I have to check now. 20% damage penalty. So what is that? 12, 13 damage? Roughly? Something like that? Yeah. Yeah, it's a 20% damage penalty. So yeah, but you can still deal with light classes up close. Like if you walk up to a spy, or not a spy, a sniper when the fucking razor back, and you still fucking deal with him. That still works. You got some pyro, you know, brainlessly holding down mouse one at you, you can just still take him down with this. If he's at lower health, you know, but if you get caught out in an extended fight and you're having to use your revolver, then yeah, you get fucked. Does stock still take 3? What's the base damage on this? TF2 revolver. I thought it was 65. Am I stupid? It's 60, my bad. I thought it was 65. I'm stupid. Or 63. So yeah, it still takes 3 shots at stock revolver. I'm dumb. So yeah, then that still defeats the purpose of this thing too, because you can still 3-shot a light class at close range. So there you go. So yeah, you're right. The damage penalty on this doesn't make that much of a difference when you can still do a decent amount of damage at closer range, which is mostly when you're using this thing. So yeah, I guess I do kind of agree with that. Maybe nerf the damage on this thing a little bit more. 30% maybe? Maybe 35? So it's doing like, the base damage on this thing is 48, or 48 for stock, and then 32 for the Lestrange at base damage. Maybe make it do like 28. I kind of like that, maybe. I would still use it though, because it's still really good. I don't care that I'm doing 20 damage per shot. I can stay cloaked forever, and if I'm desperate, fuck it, I'll just pop someone with a fucking toothpick. So, definitely one of Spy's best items right now is the Lestrange, hands down. It's very good. Diamondback rework. Do we really want to discuss the Diamondback right now? It should get cloak back like the black box. The Lestrange does give you cloak on hit. It gives you 15% cloak on hit. That's why it's good. You have 2 ways to get your cloak. You got 2 ways to play. You don't gotta play at all. You just get more cloak. You just gotta have it in your fucking pocket. And then 2, you shoot someone in and you get a little more cloak back. So. Spy's new knife. Ooh, I can't read that. Spy's new knife, tying the stock knife to a pole to be able to stab someone from 2 meters. It's just a sword at that point. You're just fucking poking people with the sword. Oh, hey, Cowdy, how's it going? Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna talk, because this item, frankly, is just, it's looking at me funny. I really hate this item right now. Stored crit mechanics in TF2 have to be very delicately balanced to have some kind of a significant downside, to have them just, again, on demand. This item has no real downsides for its crit mechanic, aside from a 15% damage penalty. It's so fucking stupid. Because, and before, you had to just land backstabs. The only way you could get crits with this thing is when you get a backstab, but now you can get it by landing backstabs and sapping buildings. So all you have to do is, like, sap one end of a teleporter and you get a stored crit. It's so piss easy to get crits now, and you can store up to a maximum of 6 in one clip. So you're juicing out 606 damage. It's a bit broken. And also, no damage fall off or spread on this shit. So you can spam 102s from across the map and not even have to get a headshot to do the crit like the old ambassador. I fucking hate this thing. It's so fucking cheese too, right? Because a spy has to sap one end of a teleporter. He has that stored crit. He can whip a stab and then get the fucking get out of jail free card. Boom, 102, you're fucking dead. 2 crits, he can drop a heavy. 2 crits, he can drop a soldier. 3 crits, he can drop a heavy. It's so fucking busted. I hate it. At least before, when you were only getting crits from backstabs, that janky mechanic, or not janky, but this absolutely awful mechanic was, like, not as frequently realized. It didn't manifest as often. Also, only backstabs for it because its tellies are way too easy to farm. See, I agree. put it back. If you're not gonna change the fucking mechanic on this thing, put it back so you can only get crits from backstabs. Please. Don't make it count for buildings. Okay, if you're gonna do it for buildings, only sentries. Not random dispensers or half ends of teleporters scattered around the map by like one of the 55 fresh installs you've come across that day. No. Csgo Revolver where Diamondback has a delayed trigger. No, because then if you don't have a crit, it's useless. Right? Because if you have a delayed trigger without a crit, you're pulling out this thing, you're doing 15% less damage. Whoa, it's bleh. Back when it only got crits from saps and it was trash? Yeah. So make it so it only gets crits on backstab and not from buildings lying around. That's better. That's a much better way to reward a player. You actually played the spy by getting a backstab. Here, have some crits. Not sapping a stationary target that doesn't even fucking attack you unless it's a sentry gun. Right? So that's why I say, even if you're gonna still give crits on sap, give it for just sentry guns. Things that can kill you, right? I suppose a teleporter still can kill you if you get telefragged, but... no. What if it only has a clip of 2 instead of 6 and there's a slow reload? But that still doesn't circumvent the problem, because it's still an instantly usable 102 damage crit that does the same amount of damage anywhere on the map, so you can snipe people with it at no extreme risk to the spy. It doesn't solve the problem at all. Unlike every other stored crit mechanic inside of TF2, like for example, you have the Man Melter. You have to actually pull it out, extinguish your teammates, you can store crits, but it's on a fucking flare gun, and it's a bit janky and it's a projectile, so not, you know, across the map hit scan. There's that. You have the Frontier Justice, which borderline has the same problem as the Diamondback, but Frontier Justice has bullet spread. So if you're not anywhere, if you're not within medium to close range, you're not juicing out the full damage of the Frontier Justice. And it only has 3 shots, so if you don't have crits, then, you know, you can't use that shotgun as often to defend yourself, and also damage fall off and bullet spread with it without a crit, so there's that too. What else is there? Flog, no air blast. Flog also sucks because you can just have a medic living in your ass and use the stored crits that way. Am I forgetting other ones that have stored crits? What else has stored crits? I can't think of anything else that has stored crits. Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. You can still fuck over a Flog Pyro if he's by himself, right? If he's by himself, he has crits pop, you fucking kill him. Crits doesn't really count because it's an Uber. Carbine? Yeah. Yeah, actually, I wouldn't say Carbine. It's more of how the Bushwhacker works, because you can have a stored crit with Girardi and or the Carbine, or rather, the Girardi or the Carbine. You have a stored crit with the Bushwhacker. I really, man, I have 2 clips that I saved that I really want to show you guys, but I'm saving them for when I do the sniper tier list, because, man, Bushwhacker is so fucking stupid. I hate that item. Oh, no, that's another one of those broken stored crit things that just shouldn't exist. Anyway, we're getting too far down a tangent here. Diamondback's stored crit mechanic, I don't like it. I don't like how easy it is to get those stored crits. I don't like the fact that there is no extreme penalty for using this item. Because also, guess what? Perfectly accurate shot on the first shot. So, there's that too, unlike Frontier Justice, which has bullet spread, or, if you're playing in the Valve server, random bullet spread, so it can fuck you over even more. So, right, and that the random bullet spread on the fucking Diamondback doesn't come into effect until the second shot, or until you're really far away. Or until you're really far away. So there's that too. So for me, I think the Diamondback would be something that's like a good rework thing, because let's think about what you're using the Diamondback for. You're either using the Diamondback to cheese and get crits and just, you know, shoot people and just kill them, or it's kind of like your panic item, oh shit, whipping this out so I can do some fast damage because I whiffed a backstab, right? You whiff a backstab, pull this out, you got a crit, pop someone, you get to live. I think a fun idea would be to like make the Diamondback like a quick draw weapon, where you pull it out and you can shoot faster, but it does less damage. have a faster deploy speed, a faster firing speed, but give it like a 20% damage penalty. It's like fuck, right? And then you can, that's it. That might be something interesting. But then again, that would be maybe not so good because, you know, you come across someone who's just standing still, whip it out, ba ba ba, and they're dead. A little too fast. Then again, give it like just 3 shots. Oh, so it's like if like you're it's like I'm envisioning like a fucking like a Wild West cowboy movie where they fucking pull out their 6-shooter and they're fucking, you know, throwing down the hammer on the back and firing it that way, right? It's like 1, 2, 3, like have it fucking do that shit, like 3 shots, like bam, bam, bam. That might be cool. Maybe. See, now we're just brainstorming here, but it's, I don't know. Something needs to be done with the fucking Diamondback to where it's not as hideously broken and a fucking ass to play against as it is right now. I fucking hate this thing. It needs to be reworked in some capacity. I don't know how, but do it. Do it. Do the Enforcer next? Oh, God, that's... I mean, what's there to say about the Enforcer? It's the Spy's worst item. It's a slower firing speed for a dumb gimmick that rarely comes into play. It's so hideously situational, and even though you can pierce enemies' resistances with this thing, the slower firing speed doesn't really make up for it, so you're still doing all around less damage with it. It's fucking dumb. It's fucking dumb. I hate this thing. You can 2-shot snipers with it? Yeah, if you're standing right next to them. And it doesn't pierce all resistances. You heard it here, folks. Enforcer doesn't pierce all resistances. Fun. Only good against vac medics. If you're gonna get that close to a vac medic using a revolver, just stab him. Right? That's a faster way to deal with a vaccinator medic, is just backstab his ass. Instead of like, okay, he's using the vac, I'm gonna use his gun now. Oh, first shot did more damage. Oh, slower firing speed, back to normal damage. Guess I'll die now. It's so fucking bad. And yeah, I miss the old Enforcer too. I like the old Enforcer, higher damage, slower firing speed. That was it. That was kind of fun. I liked that. I don't know. Was it broken before? I never noticed a strong issue with it back in its old state of just having a slower firing speed and higher damage out. But then again, you could just pocket someone with a crits medic and do 144 crits. Yeah, it was pretty bad when I had random because it did 144 across the map. Oh, yeah, that was yeah, it's pretty bad. Can't deny that the old one was fun though. Old one was fun. I don't know. I don't know what they could do to this thing to make it better. It just has such a useless mechanic with it now that it needs something completely different to make it useful again. And I don't know what you could do to make it useful. It definitely needs some kind of a total rework for it to be a usable item. I'm just not sure what you could do with it. Someone mentioned 25 health on kill. Maybe? I don't know. For slower firing speed, same damage, but then 25 health on kills, so you're rewarded for getting a kill with it? Maybe? I don't know. But ranged health back on kill with hit scan? A little bit strong? You have the black box, but it's a projectile and it's capped at 20. I don't know. Maybe? Could something like that could work? Not worth it? Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards... I'm leaning towards it not being that useful because you're only whipping it out when you know you can secure a kill with it. Or if it's like a desperation move when you're trying to get off enough damage on someone before you die, but you're still probably gonna die anyways. So... why is it in the bottom... why is it... I can't read this. So why is it not in the bottom broken category? I guess it is broken considering that it doesn't pierce all resistances. So it's buggy and it's a dog shit item. So yeah, you're right. Should be in the broken category. Give the Enforcer 15% damage bonus, remove the disguise gimmick and give it like 1 or 2 less shots, but that still brings it back to how it was balanced before, where it was just a higher base damage, slower firing speed, annoying to deal with when it got a random crit. You could just make it so it can't be crit boosted. That could solve the problem. Higher damage, no random crits, and can't be crit boosted. Or maybe so it does mini crits when you're crit boosted instead. That would solve the issue, maybe. Potentially, I don't know. Because the old one was only like a major pain in the ass when you got crits with it. So, yeah, no random crits. That could be something, maybe. Because a lot of other items in this game are balanced this way that do extra damage but don't have random crits, or have some kind of a way for you to secure extra damage like the Bushwhacker does, but you can't get random crits with it. So maybe that's a way to handle it. Maybe. Maybe you could make it an Islander-type weapon, but lower health than Kunai without kills? No. The Enforcer now does pierce all resistances. It not piercing through some was fixed in 2018, and I don't even know anymore. I have to like, I'm getting mixed messages here. All I know is that it's dog shit, needs to be reworked, and needs to do something else entirely, period. It should just be like the Frontier Justice, give it less ammo and lower accuracy, but if you're still close enough to somebody, it's still full damage 102. It doesn't fully deal with the issue of it being able to do a high amount of damage at no extreme risk to the spy. So, final thoughts on this thing, rework it, make it do something different. Final thoughts on this thing, rework it, make it do something different. This is overpowered, this is useless, make them both do something different. That's it, we're moving on. Next thing. Next thing on the checklist here. And then we got more ats. What about something similar to the Diamondback? Every backstab gives you no bullet penetration. No, that's a horrible idea. Hit scan bullet penetration is busted. Look at the Machina. It shouldn't get the damage bonus against pain train users. It doesn't get damage bonus against pain train users? Interesting. I like the idea of the Enforcer being an anti-sentry gun, more damage against sentries. The Spy already has a nerf against buildings with his revolvers for a good reason, because he can sap things. So if you can sap it and then shoot it, you're just juicing out the health away from that faster. No, I don't like that idea. People really want me to talk about the red tape recorder. Why do people want to talk about this thing? I don't know. Red tape is, I don't know. Red tape is kind of like I don't know. The red tape recorder isn't as bad as people make it out to be. It's something that can instantly disable any building so your team can push in and kill it, right? And before, does it still instantly de-level something down to a level 2? Someone, remind me if it still instantly de-levels something down to a level 2. Does it do that still? Or does it not do that anymore? Guys, relax. Holy shit, chill out. Does it not do that anymore? Because I remember it used to being able to instantly de-level something down to a level 2. It doesn't do that anymore? Okay, so now it's lower. I thought it did. It's D tier. It's still not as bad as people make it out to be, because being able to instantly disable a level 3 so other people can attack it is still a fairly useful thing. But when you're doing that, why not just use the Zapper and have it remove health from it? So it's like, this thing is always infinitely more useful because your team has to follow up on dealing less damage to the sentry gun, and it fucks the engineer over more quickly than having to wait for it to actually de-level and then fuck him over that way. But as soon as the fucking thing is gone, then the building is already back at full health at whatever level it's at, and it can just start firing again. So, it can be a little bit annoying against, you know, like if you're playing engineer, you're dealing with a guy who's only using the red tape recorder. Yeah, it's annoying, but it's not nearly as effective as just the regular Zapper. to make it more team focused, it should disable buildings for longer. I mean, it kind of does. Like, if you're catching it while it's in the middle of like a de-leveling animation, once you knock it off, the building has to rebuild itself and then it can start firing again. But the frequency at which that happens isn't that often, and how quickly it has to get itself back into like its fully built mode depends on how far along in the actual animation it's gone through, and it usually doesn't amount to that much time. So, Red Tape Recorder is really good against the gunslinger, but how often are you sapping minis? Because people are usually able to destroy mini sentries so fucking quickly that you don't have enough time to actually get to them and sap them, at least from my experience. It's only good when dealing with 5 engineer buildings in the same spot and healing each other, since de-leveling is more useful than doing damage, I guess. I don't know. The only useful thing about the Red Tape Recorder is that it disables a building so your team can attack it, but it takes too long for it to de-level it to the point where you've actually reduced enough of its effective health, because the amount of time, because what's the health difference between the level 2 and level 3 is like 180 and 216, right? Am I wrong? Like, yeah, a level 2 sentry is 180 health, level 3 sentry is 216. The amount of time it takes for it to de-level from a level 3 down to a level 2 is only, what is that, 36 health? So it loses 36 health, and compared to the regular Zapper, it makes it lose 36 health faster. And by the time it gets down to a level fucking 2, or by the time it gets down to a level 1, that's 130 effective health. By the time it takes that long, you've already almost removed the entire health pool of the regular sentry gun. So, yeah, why would I ever use the fucking Red Tape Recorder? I would use a stock Zapper all the time. It removes more effective health from the sentry gun that way. Faster. I heard someone saying, not ironically, can't read that it's good against frontier justice engineers because they don't get their crits as quick as with the Zapper. How do you get to that conclusion? I already said the benefits of the Red Tape Recorder. The Red Tape Recorder is only good for disabling a building so your team can follow up. That's about it. Otherwise, just use the Zapper, because you're removing more health from the gun than effective health than with. I'm having one of those days where I am completely unable to properly articulate the thoughts going through my head and have them come out of my mouth in a smooth and elegant fashion. I'm having one of those days today. I'm stuttering and stammering like a motherfucker, and it's because I woke up at fucking 6:30 this morning and I was staring at a fucking homework assignment in Python. I'm a novice at Python. I can't code in that shit yet. And I'm trying to fucking figure out how to run optimization functions for multivariate functions, and I can't fucking figure out how to do that shit because I can't goddamn code it. And I've tried to figure it out, beating my head against a fucking wall, because I haven't done linear algebra in 7 years when I took the class when I was fucking 20 years old, and I haven't had to touch it again. So I was beating my head against a goddamn piece of drywall so I could figure out how to take a fucking determinant of a matrix, because I fucking forgot. And I had to Google it and have a YouTube man who's from India tell me how to do it, because I forgot. And I'm pissed. I'm still mad about it, because I couldn't remember how to do something so simple like to take the fucking determinant of a 2x2 matrix. And I'm pissed. And that's still sitting in the back of my mind, dude. I'm trying to think about TF2 right now, but I'm still fucking mad. I'm still angry that I couldn't remember how to do simple mathematics in my head from a class I took and paid money for 7 fucking years ago. And it's still fucking eating at me, dude. It's like I have a fucking earworm in my... It's like the fucking things from Star Trek Wrath of Khan. The fucking earwigs that crawl in your ear and like attach to your fucking brainstem. And they fucking like... It's like the fucking truth serum bug. But instead of that, it's chewing at the fucking brain. And I'm pissed because I couldn't remember how to do the fucking math. And then after I spent an hour trying to remember the mathematics, I then had to code it inside of Python, which is thankfully very easy to do. Pissed me off. And I was doing all of that until fucking 1 o'clock this afternoon, and my brain was fried. So when I'm coming to sit down and trying to elegantly speak to an audience, I get fucked and I can't talk. So I'm like trying to like shift gears to talk about something else, but I'm still thinking about the other thing. It's life. I'm mad. I'm trying to talk about a useless TF2 item here. Fuck. Oh, God. Red Tape Recorder sucks. Its only upside is that he can disable a building. That's it. Moving on. Stock Zapper. That's the only other sapper in the game, and it's just good. What else is there to say about the stock sapper? You're pretty much always and only ever going to use that because the red tape recorder sucks dick. What else is there to say about the sapper? That's it. Why are people telling me to get banana? Okay, listen. People, okay, here we go. Now there's some new fucking stupid inside joke. Here we go. Now there's some weird fucking internet lingo about they're referencing some stupid fucking meme that I have no idea what it fucking is. Oh, Zesty, get the banana, get the banana, get the. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. You're fucking talking about something that you probably saw on fucking Twitter, right? Some fucking, like, I don't know, some gimmick, dumb, stupid bullshit account talking about goddamn it's on Twitter. It's Delta. I didn't play the fucking Deltarune game, dude. I don't fucking know it. It's like fucking referencing something else that I don't even know what it's fucking about. I'll get the fucking banana. I don't fucking know. I haven't played it yet. I'll get the banana. It's like, okay, I'm gonna make a reference to fucking, I don't know, Blue's Clues, an episode from like 2002. Oh, what? You didn't get the joke I was making? Fuck. What does it mean, get the banana? I don't understand. Fuck me, dude. Pixel, buddy, you've never been to my streams before. I'm not a calm person. Welcome, you're new here. You've not seen how I act. This is nothing new. It's just who I am, man. I get pissed. Getting mad. Yeah, it is a shitty, I think, the shitty quality of the chat is largely stemming from Twitter schizos that are coming here to, like, rag on me and shit. Also, 4chan has this weird, mild obsession with me, and so it's probably a lot of those people, too, so... Hi! That's why it's... The chat has quickly devolved into a fucking cesspool. But whatever. Let's move on. Let's see. I don't know, let's get... I mean, yeah... Fucking the vanilla watch is good. It's your best option pretty much almost and always all the time. Just why would you ever not use it? I mean, you can use the Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger's fun. Cloak and Dagger is basically training wheels for a new spy player. I pretty much only ever see the Cloak and Dagger being used by fresh spies because they want to be able to take their time, like, okay, do I attack now? Okay, no, not yet. Do I attack now? Okay, no, not yet. They're just camping in one spot, waiting for that opportune moment. They're the fucking spider in the web, waiting for the guy to come across his path. It's like, now is the time. And they fucking uncloak and they fucking lift their fucking legs up and their pinchers come out and they fucking get one guy and then they fucking die because they're fresh at the game and didn't pay attention to what could be coming after the guy they're going after. So... Cloak and Dagger is really good on payload and attack defense. Yeah, I mean, it's still good. Like, if you pair this thing with the fucking L'Étranger, it's still good. And the fact that they changed it so you can pick up ammo when you're not cloaked to regen your cloak, oh, it was a really good change for this thing. Because you used to not be able to do that. But this, now, being able to remain infinitely cloaked and you can pick up ammo kits with it, oh man. It's a really... Actually, you know what? I'm going to bump it to A. It's good. It's not worth it's like bottom of A tier, but it's still really good because you can still play very effectively with this thing. You have to play a little bit slower, but usually playing slower as spy often works in your favor because you can really pick that opportune time to go in and attack somebody. So, yes. Cloak and Dagger is very good. I like the changes they made to it. It's not complete, like, it doesn't... I like it because it doesn't absolutely lock you down into one area, right? The old Cloak and Dagger, you had to just cloak, you had to get to your spot, then you had to sit and you had to wait, right? You had to wait to have enough cloak before you could move again. But now you can go to an ammo pack, you know, briefly decloak, risk revealing yourself, get that ammo pack, and then recloak again, and then you're good, right? But you still lose, you have faster cloak drain when you're moving. So I think it's in a great spot. And it's good. It's good. Pairs well with L'Étranger, pairs well with the Big Earner. Should probably talk about here's the thing. Big Earner is heavily slept on. I saw someone say this earlier. The Big Earner is heavily slept on. Big Earner, I would say... I don't know, man. I would say the Big Earner is Spy's second best knife. Because a faster moving Spy after a backstab is insanely good. Because you can just chain stab like a motherfucker. It's very good. You get cloak back on hit. you get the speed boost after you backstab somebody so you can backstab someone, get the fuck out faster, or keep getting chain stabs over and over again. And then you fucking zip away. It's really good. Yeah, you get like what? Is it? I don't remember how much cloak you get back on backstab with this thing. It's like 30 or 40%? TF2 big earner? I don't remember the exact amount. 30% back cloak on hit, not 40, 30% back cloak on hit. Speed boost after a backstab, but you're running around at 100 health, so you get killed in one shot by one pipe or one scattergun shot at point blank or one rocket at point blank. But you also have that damage resistance while you're cloaked, so guess what that does for you? When you're cloaked, guess how much health you have? You have 125 health when you're cloaked. 125 effective health when you're cloaked. So you're still walking around at base health when you're invisible. So there's that too. So yeah, Big Earner is probably Spy's second best knife. It's easily better than... See, Toby, you made the same mistake I do. So a 20% resistance is not the same as 20% more base health. That's not how it works. The multiplier is applied to the damage that you take and not your actual health pool. So instead of just taking 20% of 100 and adding it to your base health, how it actually works is you take your base health and you divide it by 1 minus the resistance. So it's 100 divided by 1 minus 0.2 or 100 divided by 0.8, and that's 125. So I made that same mistake for a very, very long time. That's why I made the video about damage resistances, because a lot of people think that's how it works, and it's not. If you butter knife someone to death, you also get the speed boost. Yes, I did forget about that. If you fucking, you know, get someone with that fucking plastic knife, and yeah, you get the speed boost that way too. Big Earner just perfectly encapsulates Spy's playstyle. Get in with cloak, get in with cloak, get out with cloak just faster. Yeah. And as the price you pay makes you a little bit more squishy. So yeah, I would definitely say that this item is probably one of the most well-balanced items in the game in terms of an unlock. One of the most well-balanced unlocks in the game. It makes the Spy all around weaker, but harder to hit after he gets a backstab. So he has to take that risk of being found out to get that backstab. He can either choose to continue to chain stab or bail the fuck out. So squishier Spy for faster movement speed, easily one of the best and most well-balanced items in the game. In my opinion, you can agree or not, up to you, that's just me. Make a chat command for the resistance vid. No, I don't want to do that. I feel like loading up too many commands in a Twitch chat just kind of makes for visual clutter. So, This weapon didn't make any sense before. No speed boost and just plus 25 health. Yeah, wasn't all that good. Is that how it was balanced before? I didn't play much Spy before like 2 years ago. It make the Spy better at being a glass cannon. Yes, it does. Slightly glassier, slightly more cannony. Not really quite more cannon, it's a faster cannon. You just grease the wheels on the cannon. Okay. Stock knife. You know what? Hate me or love me, I'm gonna say like stock Spy is just around here. You have these other unlocks that just make playing Spy that much better. You know, more quality of life options. You either have more cloak, you move faster so you can get out of a backstab more quickly, you can get more health on backstab. But all of Spy's stock items are very good. Stock knife is just your classic bread and butter. You can't go wrong when you're using it. Yeah, you're right, Aimbot. Stock is just really consistent on Spy. You can never go wrong with just playing vanilla Spy, but you have all these other really good unlocks that just, you know, make it better in some, make you better in some ways, but weaker in others. So, stock knife is just, it's just good because the mechanic is what it is. That's it. Stock's totally fine. One complaint that I guess people could make is that backstab hitboxes are incredibly janky, and I kind of agree with that, but that's just how, you know, hitboxes work in TF2, and there's no real way to... I don't even know what would happen if they tried to fix it. Is there a way to fix it? I don't know if there is a way to fix janky backstab hitboxes. It's like a 120 degree kind of a thing, and it's also different depending on which class you're attacking, because different hitbox sizes. So I don't like, and people complain about it a lot. I find myself complaining about janky backstab hitboxes a lot too, but at the end of the day, it's just not that much of an issue. So it's just a problem with source and how the game was designed, and I think it's fine, really. 120, 180, 220 degrees. Oh, we're getting mixed signals here. Yeah, you unfortunately just need to get used to it. Yeah, and sometimes it works in your favor, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it fucks you, sometimes it kisses you right on the lips. So, you know. Shonik has a video on it. It's a clear 180. There you go. So yeah, stock spy is just good. Let's see here. Let's do, I mean, and again, stock revolver is just, you can't go wrong with stock revolver, man. It's the stock, like, people really also don't, a lot of people have said this. A lot of newer spy players never rely on their revolver. It does a lot more damage than you think it does, right? Roughly 50 damage per shot at, you know, base damage, and then 60 at max ramp up with a decent firing speed. The bullet spread does fuck you over a lot, but it's really fucking good, and more people should try relying on their just normal stock revolver, or just whatever revolver they're using. It's good. It does a lot of like, one of my favorite things to do is I like going on a high tower server and I just run around as spy using the fucking stock revolver. I fucking demolish people. You can 3-shot a scout at mid-range. Oh, it's so good. And what scout's running around at more than his fucking... What scout is running around at full health in any active fight, right? Or any other class, right? You just chip in 40, 40, 40, 40, 40 or more at people who are like a good distance away from you. It's nutty. Only problem is that random bullet spread on this thing is ass. But it's the nature of the beast with it. It's good, though. Like, here's the thing. If you get good with your revolver as spy, and you're not overly reliant on your knife, congratulations, you've mastered the class. That's about it. You have your movement, you have cloak management, you have understanding of hitboxes, but once you master using your gun with your knife, you're done. You've peaked as the spy player. Because you're juicing out all the maximum potential you can have. So, and people really underutilize their revolvers for damage. A lot of people, like myself, usually use their revolver as a utility and kind of forget that I have it. But use it for damage, man. It's good shit. Does only the stock one have... No, so, every hit scan weapon in TF2, except the sniper rifle, either has random bullet spread or has spread. That's how they all work. And even if you have random bullet spread turned off inside of a server, revolvers, pistols, the SMG, and miniguns all still have random bullet spread. If you turn off random bullet spread, it only makes scatterguns and shotguns have a fixed spread pattern, which I'm doing a very interesting video about, and I'm a little bit tempted to share what I found with you after I'm done with this, because we're almost done. We have 3 more weapons to go. Only been live for, what, an hour? So, might give you a sneak peek on that. Revolver is good, but I find it so much less interesting and fun to use. See, I have a lot of fun using the stock revolver, man. I love being able to, like, just fuck... Like, if I remember that I have a revolver, I love just suddenly being able to fuck over somebody by pulling it out and 2-shotting him, right? Because, like, you get a cocky pirate who's just like, oh, I'm gonna get this fucking spy with my fucking... I've set him on fire. Oh, it's my extinguisher. I can get this guy easy. Nope. Pop him. I love doing that shit. I think the revolver I have the most fun with is easily stock, but the one I use the most is a L'Étranger because, yeah. Toby, I finally understood the 125 HP calculation. That's some Galaxy thing. See, Toby, I didn't know that either until someone else told me. because I didn't understand that's how damage resistances and vulnerabilities work. And a lot of video games do it that way too. I think it's how all video games kind of incorporated damage resistance or vulnerability, is that it's the damage being multiplied by that value and not your base health. So it took me a really long time for me to like, it was like 3 or 4 years ago when I first started thinking about it that way. And I'm like, huh, now that makes sense. And then it's like, I tried to like spread the word, right? I was really trying to spread the word, like, okay, this is how it actually works. People got it. And so, yeah. When did I make that fucking banner video? Years ago at this point. I don't even know anymore. But yeah, stock revolver's good. Remember to use your revolvers more often. It's good shit. Let's see. Let's do the fucking, I don't know. I have mixed opinions on this thing. So, yeah, it's a get out of jail free card. It's a get out of jail free card when you get set on fire, but it's a problem when you're not actively engaging the pyro, because let's say you're going for a backstab on somebody and you have this knife out and the pyro spots you, and right when you're about to land the backstab, one flame particle hits you and then your knife is gone. I don't like that. It sucks. Like, if you know that you're actively engaging a pyro and you're like, fuck, I need to get out, then you can change to the fucking spicicle, extinguish yourself and survive. But if you're actively trying to engage any other enemy and aren't trying to pay attention to the pyro, but you know he's there and you know he's gonna set you on fire, but he's not your target and you're trying to backstab somebody, he's gonna fuck you. You can't attack now. I really, really hate that about this thing. Because the mechanic is interesting, but you get fucked over by it more often than you're helped by it. Because its usefulness is largely not in your control, because all it takes is one flame particle from someone else, and you know how janky those can be sometimes, to where you just suddenly can't use your main mechanic anymore. So, why? Why ever really use this thing? If you need your get out of jail free card, use the Dead Ringer with any other knife that's infinitely better. I'm gonna put it down here, actually. I mean, it still functions as your normal knife. It doesn't even have the silent backstab anymore, does it? They removed the silent backstab on this thing, right? It used to have a silent backstab. TF2 Spicicle. Or does it still have it? It doesn't have it anymore. I don't think it does. Yeah, they removed it. That's right. I remembered. Memory like a fucking elephant. Yeah, they removed it. So even that upside isn't there anymore. So, why use it? Just, I think can you replenish it with ammo packs? Can you? Oh, you can regen it by picking up. Okay, see, but the problem isn't not having your primary. The problem is having it removed when you're trying to use it, right? The problem is having it suddenly disappear when you're in the middle of when you're right about to fucking backstab someone. That's when this thing's fucking aggravating. Because if you suddenly get caught out, I can't attack now. So even though it regens more quickly by picking up ammo and over 15 seconds, that's not the biggest problem with it. But even then, you still have to wait before you can use your item again, which is like one of the main reasons why I don't like items like the short circuit, because it's like, hi, congratulations, you can't use your guns now. You can't use your items or your melee now. I really don't like balancing that way, where it's like, hi, you can have this weapon, you can use it, but only sometimes, because someone else might be using something to make you unable to use that item. I just, hate that kind of a design. I'm not a fan of it. And yeah, you can get it back with ammo. What if it was changed so that the meter drains when you are taking fire damage instead of a cooldown? But it would still have to disappear. I don't think I understand what you're trying to say. Worst thing about that knife, when it's melted, you found yourself holding it. Yeah, that's exactly my point. Your fucking knife disappears, it's like, oh! Where's that fucking gif of Shaq where he licks the fucking hot wing and he just goes, it's like that's what happens to you. Your knife suddenly fucking disappears, like, oh shit, I'm in trouble. That's why I don't like it. It should be manually activated to remove the flames. See, I disagree. Like having to press, like imagine having to press an extra button to make the dead ringer work. Right? Like you swap to it by hitting one button. Same for any other item. So I don't know. I mean, I guess that could work. Like you decide when the knife melts, but then it would just make it a dead ringer against only pyros. I don't know about that. I don't think I like that idea. Because then if it was done that way, then that would just be a direct buff to the item because you could choose when it disappears. And then you basically never have to worry about power because you can fucking have it, you know, have it melt and then you can get the fuck out. I don't know if I like that change. And that sucks too about it. It's like I can't think of an elegant way to like keep the mechanic the same. I don't know what you could do. I don't know, man. I don't like the way it works now because of how it fucks you out of getting a backstab if you have it out. I don't like it. Essentially give the Spicicle its own cooldown so it slowly melts over time of being lit up instead of instantly evaporating. But so what you're saying is, while you have it out, it's melting, but then after a certain point, it disappears? I don't think that, I think that just overcomplicates the item. I don't like that idea. And then, and then the downside of the item wouldn't be like fully realized because you're still able to attack people. And that's the, yeah, it sucks, but it's fine. It sucks, but it's fine, right? The fact you cannot be attacked by a pyro without having to use your fucking dead ringer or something means like, hey, now your knife is gone. You know, it needs that kind of a downside, even though the downside fucking sucks dick. It's, and I just don't like the mechanic, but it needs it in order for it to remain the same. And that's why I think it could use some kind of a rework, so it's not this weird, dumb, anti-pyro thing. I don't know. Again, this is another candidate for a potential full rework. I'm not sure, so I don't know. I don't fucking know why you'd put it in D tier when it's a direct upgrade to the stock knife. Fuck pyros for free. But then I disagree with that because suddenly not being able to attack sucks. You're fucked. You can do nothing, right? It's like, it's the same kind of argument I have against the short circuit, right? As soon as a pyro whips out his flamethrower and sets you on fire, you're fucked. As soon as an engineer pulls out his short circuit, you're fucked, right? You can't fucking attack people. You have to wait until your knife comes back or until you get far enough away to get your shit, you know, to get an ammo kit, to get your knife back and what have you. Or, like for the fucking short circuit, you have to wait for the orb to pass you or swap to a shotgun, right? You have to swap to a weaker item in order to still be able to attack. And even though I just said the revolver's good, it's not that fucking good, right? And when it matters most is when you're in a group of people trying to land that specific kill, right? And then suddenly not being able to use your fucking knife when you're in a crowd of people trying to get that insta-kill on somebody to be an influential player, suddenly not only are you caught out, but you don't have a knife to continue being able to use the main mechanic you need, and then you're stuck with a fucking 6-shooter in a group of like 4 people, and then you're fucking dead. Not to mention the pyro can still track you. So, no, I think the Spicicle is way worse than the stock knife because it just, again, it fucks you over more often than it helps you. It's just not, it's not good. It needs some kind of a change. Again, don't know what. You can't insta-kill unless you have the ambassador and be good at it. Well, you can't insta-kill with the ambassador unless someone's at 102 health or lower. Spicicle is severely underestimated. See, anytime I've watched any other like decent spy player use it, they almost always complain. It's like fuck, I didn't mean to have my knife melt there, but I can get away now, but then can't attack for a while. I just don't, If Gun Spy was better, Spicicle would be too, but as it is, it's just not good. I agree, because you're left with something that's... Imagine using this with L'Étranger, which is a really good item. But then you suddenly can't use your backstab, and then it's like, oh shit, I'm stuck with a pea shooter. Guess I'll die now. I'm gonna be that guy. Can I get some fucking... Do I have that fucking Twitch emote available? Is it not here? There it is. There it is. Guess I'll die now. That's why I don't like this thing. Anyway. Don't like it. Objectively, probably Spy's worst knife. Another candidate for not super good is the Your Eternal Reward. I like that they buffed it, but I also hate that you have to sacrifice your entire cloak meter to disguise once. You still have the silent backstabs, and I've seen people do some crazy shit with the Your Eternal Reward. Like, I still, every now and again, once in a rare fucking blue moon, I see a guy, like, just suddenly disappear. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And then I see someone else fucking disappear. I'm like, what the fuck happened? Like, some guy is fucking eating my team alive, and no one's noticing that a fucking guy is melting through them with a fucking Your Eternal Reward. But the problem with this, and why I don't like it, is it fucks with your movement speed. I really don't like that it fucks with your movement speed, because as soon as you as soon as you stab something that isn't another spy or a scout, you're instantly slowed down. And in order to circumvent that and to get back to a different disguise that lets you move faster, you have to redisguise as a fucking scout or a spy, or sacrifice your disguise so you can move faster to catch up to your next target. So it's really only super effective if you're kind of in like a tight group of players where you can keep chain stabbing people, right? Or if you manage to catch out one guy who's by himself and no one else is really around, you can pop him. But then it's like, okay, there's like a straggling heavy, and then there's a straggling soldier, and then you can pop him for the disguise, but then you're just moving slower. It's like, then I can't get to the rest of the people that I want to hit. I don't know. I just don't like how it fucks with your movement speed that much. I prefer the consistency of any other knife, and then being able to choose when you want to move slower, rather than having to rely on whatever target's in front of you to be effective. You know, I don't like that about it. The 33% cloak drain is what kills. Does it have a 33% cloak drain? Are you for real? I didn't even know that. You can tell how little I use this item. 33% cloak drain. What the fuck? Okay, yeah, that's even worse. Jesus Christ. Yeah, why would you ever use this thing? That's actually pretty bad. I didn't know that. I'm gonna bump it down. I still think the Spicicle's worse, because you still have an on-demand thing that isn't fucked over if a pyro is present, but reorganize this a bit. Yeah, red tape's down here. Red tape's at bottom of D tier. Yeah, Your Eternal Reward is just... I still consider it a little bit better than the fucking Spicicle, again, because you're not fucked out of your knife if a pyro drops one fucking flame particle on you, or like snipes you with a fucking scorch shot. But this thing, I still don't like it, because for the reasons I described, that apparently you'd shoot through your cloak 33% faster. Oh, you can offset a little bit with this thing, but why do that and then just use a regular knife and cloak on demand? Having all of those downsides just to have a silent backstab and to instantly acquire the disguise of the person you killed don't really feel like it's worth it. Don't feel like it's worth it. And yeah, I kind of agree. The old Your Eternal Reward was more consistent, right? It was more consistent in that it was only the silent backstab. You didn't have to worry about chewing through a disguise kit to get a cloak. You didn't have a cloak penalty, so it was like risk versus reward, where you jump down, get like 5 or 6 people, and then by the time they finally notice you eating your fucking team, it's too late. So Spicicle has use. Your Eternal Reward proactively makes any loadout you run worse. I still disagree, because the fucking faster cloak drain and the fact that you can't select what speed you're moving unless you very meticulously pick your target, I still think this can fuck you over heavily. I still think this is worse, because this thing fucks you over way more than it helps you. Still will stand by that. Easy. This thing hurts you way more than it helps you. Hands down. Silent backstab, worth it, because pubbers have no ears for some reason. I mean, there's so much noise going on in your usual game anyway that being able to pick out a single sound is usually difficult, right? Like, if you're in the middle of a firefight and a spy suddenly going to town on somebody, you're probably not actively listening for that backstab sound. It's only super noticeable when, like, the spy is picking off someone and there's no real active firefight going on. Unless you have your volume just cranked all the way fucking up and you're super paranoid about spies, then yeah, you're gonna hear it, but... yeah. Yeah, I too am a bit of a bigger fan of the older Eurotunnel reward. I'm not big on the current version. Just eh. Yeah. Okay, Ambi. Well, here's the thing. The Ambassador's still good, but everyone's still really angry that it got nerfed. And to me, I think it needed the nerf. But this thing needed the nerf way more than this thing did. Why did they buff this thing and then nerf this thing? They should have nerfed this thing and then left it the same. That would have been a less upsetting change than what they did by buffing the fuck out of this thing and then nerfing the shit out of this thing. This thing is still, don't get me wrong, really fucking good. People really, yeah, you're right. People fucking, this thing is really underrated and people underestimate it. It's like, oh, I can't get my crits, I can't get my 102 crits from across the map anymore, so I can't use the Ambassador anymore. It's not, I can't use it no more. But I think people fail to realize that the range in which you can get the 102 damage crit is a lot bigger than you might think. And the fall off carries out, I tested this. The fall off goes, it takes a pretty good time for the fall off to go all the way out. You can still chew through people with this thing. And if you're trained well enough to land those fucking headshots where it matters at close range, then yeah, this thing is still good. When I had a problem with the Ambassador, the old Ambassador, and the reason why I fucking hated it, is because all a spy would need to do was just hang out at like the same range as a sniper, and then just do fucking boop, 102, 102, 102, 102, and then it's like, fuck, where am I getting credit from? All I have to do is fucking, oh, I'm gonna cloak now, you can't see where I shot you from, I'm gonna reposition, and then do it again. I fucking hated that about the old Ambassador. At least with this, the current one, you can't do that bullshit anymore. I fucking hated the old Ambassador for that reason. Because think about it this way. You can get across the map, hit scan, headshots on a class that can immediately cloak and get away. Or disguise and hide himself and then reposition and then do it again. Sniper does more damage, insta-kills 5 out of 9 classes in the game, but at least when he shoots you, shit, now I know where he is. Unlike the spy who can just go invisible and it's like, well, guess I won't find him right now. And they have to wait for him to do it again and then hopefully catch him and then kill him. That's why I hated the old Ambi. I remember seeing a lot of older videos, people would use like FOV scripts to like, they would hit a button and it would change their FOV so they can get better headshots from a distance. That was fucking stupid. Like, oh my God, like old comp spies would do that all the fucking time and I hated that crap. So fucking strong. It needed the nerf that it got and it's in a perfectly acceptable state. It's in a perfectly acceptable state now. It's still perfectly useful. You can still get good with it, still get good headshots with it, still get your targets down, you know, but you should not be able to do across the map headshots with this thing. And so, appropriately, they changed it to the way it works now. So, did it make Spy weaker in competitive games? Yeah, I guess, and I guess that's why people are pretty upset about it. But aside from that, it's fine. In any other setting, it's still really good. But I still consider it worse than any of these revolver options. Like, stock is just so good. Latron J gives you so much cloak. Why bother? Why bother training yourself on getting headshots when you can get crits for free and then not have to worry about placing them in someone's head? Why would I ever use this when this exists? Ever. You want me to respect you a whole lot more as a spy player? Get good with this. You want me to fucking hate your guts? And, you know, fucking gut you and hang you out to dry in the sun, turn you into some fucking beef jerky? Use this, and I will fucking put you on my shit list. If you tell me in public that you use the fucking Diamondback, I will hurt you, physically. I will grab you by your fucking ankles and I'll twirl you around like a fucking baton, and then chuck you. But the Ambassador's still good, and I agree. I think it's in a good spot. I have no problems with this weapon anymore, unlike how I used to. But people will still complain about it because, oh, I can't insta-kill people from across the map no more. They get a little pissy baby face about it. Now it's fine. We kind of went through that fast, didn't we? That was it. That's the spy tier list. We're done. What kind of person that says the Diamondback is balanced and skilled based? Someone who needs a lobotomy. Yeah, I covered it fast because there's not a lot of spy items, and like a majority of spy's items are like his stock. A stock watch, sapper, knife, revolver. That's 4 out of the total amount. Everyone knows this thing fucking sucks dick. Everyone knows this thing's mediocre. Still decent, borderline broken, ass. And then just good and good and good. It's like, what else is there to say about spy? It's funny too. Spy, I would say, amongst a couple of other classes in the game, is in a really good spot right now. There's not a lot of stuff wrong with the class. Aside from the Diamondback needing to be reworked to shit, and then making this not be fucking useless, as you can see here, a majority of Spy's items are pretty fine. And he plays well, you know? Yeah, he's got a higher skill floor, but rightly so, because he's the insta-kill class who can go invisible, so it kind of needs that. So... Spy's eye. Melee, yeah, we were talking about melee registration earlier because, you know, but again, it's just the nature of the beast with Source and how hitboxes were designed, and it's just never gonna change. People have lived with it for 14 years and will continue to live with it for 14 years. 14 years more, hopefully. Hopefully this game never dies, but it will eventually because that's how video games work, but whatever. So yeah. So hey, we got 2 options, guys. We have 2 options. Option 1, and I'll let you pick. Option 1, I can do the medic tier list right now. Because if you look at what the medic has, that's it. I can do the medic tier list right now, or I can save that for another time and fuck off and do something else. I can just knock out medic right now, and it will cut this down by a week. And whether or not this is, and it will be 2 separate videos, but I can just do it right now. No, I'm not gonna strain my editor, right? I'm not gonna. They're gonna come out whenever they come out. They'll be done when they're done. It's no longer gonna be a weekly release schedule on these videos because I have a lot of other shit that I'm working on right now. And that other video project that I'm thinking about. But I can just do this right now because there's a lot of stuff about medic that is, it's just, you just breeze through it pretty quickly. So yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go piss really quick and then I can do medic. And I'm up for it. Let's do medic right now. I'm up for it. I'm feeling the medic tier list. So I'm gonna go piss.